Welcome to Halloween and Stranger Things Extravaganza. Hello, cult members, and welcome to the Pop Culture Cult. I am Sean.
I'm Janice.
And this is our 1 year anniversary. Yay! Fireworks are flying off everywhere, and we're hooping and hollering, and we have party hats on and streamers, and right?
Yeah.
Use your imagination, people.
If we had time, we would have done it.
If we were home this weekend, we would have thought about it. So we were gone this weekend.
We were.
For our other thing that we do, where we went camping for 3 days and hit each other with baseball bats.
Right. And now I sound like this.
Yeah. Camping, when you live in the desert, you live in a dust bowl. And then you go camp inside a parking lot with a dust bowl. It's going to be this whole mess of stuff.
Yeah.
We wanted to talk about our year in review, before we kind of get into all the Stranger Things stuff and some of the news and movie stuff that's happened. But for us, we started this thing on Halloween Day 1 year ago. It was me in front of the computer, kind of struggling to do stuff, and we about 3 episodes in, Janice finally decided to join me in my little.
I may have had a job that really sucked at that time, so I was never home in time.
That is true. That is true. And so we started this thing, and out of mostly because we were talking about movies and TVs and cons and all the other stuff, and Stranger Things and all the movies and all the Marvel stuff and Star Wars. We were talking it anyways, and so we decided let's videotape it and put it on YouTube and see what happens. And
by we, he means him.
Okay.
And I was shaking my head a lot.
Okay, there might have been some kicking and screaming involved. Don't tell me you haven't been having at least a little bit of fun with this.
I guess.
That's it. We're done. Fuck it. We did it 1 year. Out the door. So we wanted to kind of talk about what happened over this last year. We've slowly built to 107 subscribers. I'm actually quite pleased with that, because we do know YouTube promoting
ads,
it all,
yeah,
or whatever. That's
yeah.
all just working through Facebook and other social media stuff, and working our way forward and putting stuff out as much as we can.
We have 200 and something on Facebook.
306 on Facebook. And that we've done some pushing of trying to get more people to, but in that we've got people from all of the United States and Canada, and then the UK, Italy, for some strange reason.
We're huge in Italy.
I think I might be huge in Italy because I'm a foot taller than everybody else.
Yeah.
And then Germany. We have a street here in Phoenix that's Germann, and it's pronounced Germain.
But the Google Maps lady doesn't.
No, it's
she calls it German.
Anyways, we have 98 Twitter followers and 89 Instagram followers, and we'd like to push more on that, but we're not great. Those aren't social media platforms that we were doing before we started this, and so we always end up forgetting to post to Instagram or Twitter or whatever.
Well, I was on Instagram, but
you were, and she's kind of the one that's been in charge of the Instagram stuff, and so I give her stuff to go send out, and sometimes I forget. Most of the time I forget, and so we're gonna try our best to continue on with that. We also started a partnership with Stadust App. And we talked about it a bunch, where you can react and stuff on that. They contacted us and liked what we were doing, and wanted us to be part of their startup. And we got 177 followers on there now.
Nice.
So we're we like doing trailer reactions here on this page, but it takes a good 45 minutes to an hour to do the whole process. So set up and do the trailer reaction and edit it and then start the whole upload process. And we both work full-time jobs and we have a full-time hobby outside of this. And so it's very difficult for us to sit down and do,
We'll do trailer reactions for the big stuff.
we try to
We're going to go see Thor on Friday, so
yeah.
uh,
So we'll figure out.
maybe Sunday night,
maybe
because we
we'll
have
do a
thing on Saturday.
and
all
a thing
day
on
Sa-
Sunday.
And a thing on Sunday, but
So maybe we'll do a full review on
Sunday night.
or something.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, we
we
could throw
we
it
try to do our best to do full reviews and full trailer reactions as much as we can. But we're working schmoes. So, what was one of the we've done a couple different things. We've seen a bunch of dozens of movies that probably wouldn't have seen
Yeah,
over
definitely.
this last year and given our reactions and reviews. It feels like hundreds of hours of television.
Yes, so much television.
Some of it not so good. Trying, because we've talked about this, that we want to talk about movies and TVs and cons and books and pop culture stuff. And with just the two of us trying to keep track of all that stuff, sometimes we watch things that we feel like we have to and
wish we hadn't.
wish we hadn't. Exactly. So as we go along and evolve and change, you might see us get away from all of the TV stuff that we do and just do the specific stuff that we just really care about.
Yeah.
We're really enjoying The Gifted right now. Obviously, Stranger Things. We'll get into all that in a little bit. And then there's a whole bunch of stuff on Netflix that I'm both looking forward to, and it's just easier for us to watch because we can just binge it.
Yeah.
And then again with Hulu and Amazon and all of that stuff, network television. We got rid of cable. We've been watching the 2 CW shows that we really care about on the app, and everything.
And sports.
And sports, and that's about it. So, and we've done a couple of cons over the last year. I did ZapCon, the arcade one. We did Comic-Con together. We've talked about doing a couple of different things along that line, but picking and choosing what we want to do and stuff like that has been a little interesting.
We don't get paid to go to the stuff.
No. We're. I'd like to at least be able to get into a con as media or press or whatever.
that'd
But
be awesome.
we're working on it. So over the next year, we're gonna try to do our best to build our brand a little bit wider and expand everything and double all of our numbers. I don't think that's asking for too much.
All right.
Over the next year. So we ask you, the cult members, to please share everything that we share and ask all your friends to come and be part of this little experiment that we're trying. So over the last year of us doing this, what have you liked and haven't liked or whatever that we've done?
Well, I have some memorable moments. How about that?
That'll work. Do you have any memorable moments from the last year?
I do.
You
I do have a
You
couple
should
of
probably talk
memorable
about
moments.
this, yeah.
So experiencing the con, we went on Friday strictly as promoting the show.
Yeah.
Right. So we had shirts made that we wore, and we had bags that we gave out, and our cards, which we still give out, but to give out, like, there was this lady at this booth, and I think we had one bag left, and she was like buying a book or something, and she asked the guy if he had a bag, and we're like, we have a bag, and gave her a bag and told her about the show, and she was like, wow, that's so nice, that she was really, whether we got somebody out of it or not, I don't know, but that was it was just a little bit different experience to kind of go around and actually, hand out cards and promote the show that way, and just having some of our friends,
that we don't see very often.
Come up and say, hey, I really love your guys' show, or we have a friend who posted that they listen to the show while they're cleaning house, and and so that's awesome.
That's cool. It's weird. We're two people in a spare bedroom in a house with a laptop with a camera on it, just talking into it, and we just,
spoiler alert.
Spoilers. we're a big, huge production around here. We got a camera crew and the sound guy.
This is all green screened.
This is all green screen, and we got a makeup people, and we actually do have a makeup person. I need to talk to them first. But having them go, I've been watching your show and it's really cool, you know, or somebody posts something on our Facebook page, you know, hey, we talked about something in an episode, and they get on the YouTube or Facebook page and want to talk about whatever review we had or whatever new stuff that was coming up and that kind of thing.
And we've met some people too, which is cool.
Yeah, my like a couple different things that happened. One was going to ZapCon. Was like the first, I'm going to something to cover it for what we're doing, and going and playing arcade games, and just kind of, I did a walkthrough live stream on Facebook, and that was kind of cool, and having some people come up to me afterwards like, oh, I saw your coverage of ZapCon, that was really cool. There are other people in the Phoenix area and Tucson that we've met through this. Robert and Vanessa from Late to the Party, the guys from Tucson Comic Con, we've met them. Very cool guys all the way around, and girls. And getting to talk to them, even if it was for 10, 15 minutes, and talking a little bit of shop and whatever, that was kind of, you know, cool and stuff. But for me, it's been kind of a realization kind of thing for me, at least, is I've always been into movies and the geek stuff, you know. I've always been a sci-fi guy, but I mean, all the other stuff that kind of goes with it, and learning more that I didn't know has been really cool, and being comfortable enough to kind of hey, I know what the fuck I'm talking about, you should listen to me, you know. That's been kind of cool. And I know I'm doing really good, because when I go sit with all my comic book friends or all my super book friends, and I'm like, yes, I just read that book, we should talk about blah, 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 blah. What about, you know, and
then I walk away. I'm like, whatever.
Yeah, she's off.
Where's my Stephen King friends? Let's go talk about Stephen King.
Exactly. So, like I said, please help us continue on with this endeavor that we're doing. Please share these videos and all the stuff that we have with your friends, and ask them to come and join us. And because it's Facebook, and because it's Instagram, and because it's Twitter, the easiest way to get big is word of mouth. Yeah. So if you talk to somebody and you tell that person to tell 3 people, and those 3 people tell 3 people, and next thing you know, we've got followers, and we can get into Comic-Con for free.
Ulterior motives
a little bit. So thank you once again for following us over the last year. But now, the news. Where's Ken Knapsack with the... Here's a Schmo headlines. With all of the
stuff, nose draining. Sorry.
Camping in a bowl. So with all this stuff that happened with the Weinstein, you know, stuff, one of the things that came out, we've been trying our best not to talk about all of the sexual harassment stuff that's been coming out.
Yeah. There's a lot of other shows that are talking about it.
And they're doing a great job covering it, and the news is covering it. We want you guys to come here and have fun and be silly with us. And so we're not dodging it. We're not dodging it at all. We are just wanting to be an alternative source for some conversation and news stuff, right? So the Weinstein stuff is out there. Go look it up, whatever. One of the fallouts from that was Quentin Tarantino cut all ties from the Weinstein Company. Yeah. And Quentin has done the last few movies with them. And so he wants to do a new movie with doing a Charles Manson biopic. Now, I'm thinking it's Quentin Tarantino, so I'm thinking it's going to be like alternative history, kind of like how Inglourious Bastards was, and how they, spoiler alert, they kill Hitler in the end.
Maybe. I mean, Charles Manson was pretty bloody all by himself.
Yeah,
but
yeah. I actually would love to see, if this is actually really a Quentin Tarantino kind of spin on it, I really like to see Charlie getting away with it. That would be an interesting
no,
spin.
he won't. He won't do that.
But so Quentin has this script, and he obviously is not doing anything with the Weinstein Company anymore. And so he called his agent. Yes, I want you to call all the CEOs of all the major studios and have them come to your office, and we'll discuss who can do my next movie. Click. Because I'm Quentin Tarantino, motherfuckers.
And I can do that.
So he's asked Warner Brothers, Universal, Paramount, Miramax, blah, 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 all to come, and they can read his script, and they can. The bidding war shall ensue. So, what do you think of Quentin opening up?
I think it's awesome, and I think it's funny that his first movie, Pulp Fiction, he couldn't get anybody to do, and so he said, "Fine, I'll do it myself." And now
with some baling wire, some chewing gum,
yeah, it was Pulp Fiction, or was it? No, it was Reservoir Dogs.
Reservoir Dogs.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we're just gonna put a bunch of guys in black coats and pencil ties, and that's it for the costuming department. And
they spent all of their money. Actually, I've watched a couple things about how he did Reservoir Dogs, and he knew how he wanted to do the music cues and all that stuff that was going on.
Yeah.
And so he knew that the biggest part of their budget was actually getting the music for the
rights.
song.
Yeah.
And the only one that he was really worried about was with the scene Stuck in the Middle with You at the end with Michael Madsen. And so they actually created a soundtrack. Is that how the story goes? They created a soundtrack, and that's how they got the money. Like they like looped itself into itself, so it could be. But
to help pay
for getting essentially that song, and then everything else kind of worked out and stuff.
Yeah.
But
so now he's come to the point where he can just make a phone call and say,
"Come to Jesus.
Yep.
Come to me.
Come to Quentin."
And I'm pretty sure he's gonna go, here's the script. Here's the number. Here's the script, Mr. Paramount. Here's the number.
No, there will be no changes.
There will be no changes.
This is my movie.
I'm doing my movie. And I
here's the soundtrack. Here's the people I want to play these parts.
Yeah. Now there was some issues with the last one you just did, the
Hateful Eight.
Hateful Eight, and we're Quentin Tarantino fans. I would suck on the schmo down. The Hateful Eight, the script actually got leaked by somebody's agent. They actually took the script and leaked it and stuff, and so he wasn't even going to make the movie. And then they finally talked to him, and oh, come on, Q, you can do it.
Yeah.
So he actually ended up doing it. So that's actually one of the things they've been talking about is how. They find it a lot of the insiders in the Hollywood find it very interesting that he's sitting down and letting all of the CEOs and all the higher ups of these companies read the script because he doesn't want it to get leaked out.
Is he gonna let them read the whole script, or is he gonna
it might be a synopsis.
Give them a synopsis and say
I find it interesting that
knowing Quentin, he'd do like a puppet show.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I want the story of making this movie.
Yeah.
Start the story with the Weinstein, Harvey Weinstein stuff, and then the whole process of going and getting all these big wigs in Hollywood. I would love to see that story.
That would be a great documentary.
It'd be actually be a really funny like Hollywood parody, like a parody,
like a
of
TMZ kind of parody thing or whatever. Yeah,
that would be kind of interesting.
Or Entertainment Tonight or whatever.
It would be. There you go. I'm making millions for people.
Somebody make that.
Somebody make that. So interesting on what Quentin's going to do next. He's only got 3 movies left or 2 movies left that he's going to do, and he's going to retire.
It's 2. I thought it was 3 when
Hateful Eight came on.
Django. Yeah, I thought Django, and then he was going to do 3 more, and that was it. Yeah. So I think it's only 2, but
Yeah.
Don't go.
I still want to see him do a sci-fi western starring Nathan Fillion and Alan Tudyk. Sorry.
Done.
No, done. All right. So, last Friday, kind of out of the blue, THR, the Hollywood Reporter, announced that Zachary Levi is going to play DC's Shazam. Now, we've talked about this in the past. I'm not a huge comic book nerd. I'm learning as we go along, more and more and more. Shazam is a mortal who gets the powers of the gods, right?
Yeah.
Shazam actually started off as Captain Marvel, and then there was a change, and then Captain Marvel went to DC. It became Shazam, and now that's how you get in Captain Marvel and the Marvel universe and Shazam and the DC universe.
All right.
There was talks that John Cena was looked at, and if you've seen drawings of Shazam, it's John Cena. I mean, it's John Cena's body with Zachary Levi's head.
Yeah.
So if they can do that like CGI, I mean, they can do everything with CGI nowadays, right?
So what are you saying? Zachary can't bulk it up?
Well, funny enough, somebody posted to Instagram. Zachary Levi, honored and greatly humbled to be part of the DC universe by bringing the original Captain Marvel to life. I am beside myself with gratitude not only for this opportunity, but also the incredible outpouring of love and support from those many of you out there in the world. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'll be in the gym for the rest of forever.
Because he's not fat or anything, but he's just
he's tall and thin.
Yeah.
He was Chuck. Chuck was playing a nerd.
Yeah, he was like a Best Buy IT guy.
Right,
or whatever.
right.
Yeah.
And so first off, Zachary Levi is like a gigantic nerd. Of course, he knows who Shazam is. And he does.
And it's awesome.
And he does Nerd HQ, and he was in Chuck. Nerd HQ at San Diego Comic-Con, and he did Geeks with Drinks, which was an awesome game show. They need to bring that back.
Yeah.
And just so he gets it. He gets this whole thing. However, it's DC and Warner Brothers. And this is yet another one of those movies where they have announced, we're doing Batman, we're doing Flashpoint, we're doing Shazam, we're doing...
But if they do
Adam.
what everybody's saying that they think they're going to do, or they've kind of been leaning towards, or they think they should do, which the general consensus is to stop trying to be Marvel and just do one-off movies.
Right.
This would follow...
Kind of like how the X-Men do it.
Right. Well, but the X-Men still kind of tie the whole thing together. These are just like, if you do a couple of Wonder Womans, a couple of Aquamans, a couple of Shazams, and a couple of, if they're going to do these Batman, Joker, Superman, whatever, and stop trying to do the Avengers, right? And they can be in the same universe. We've already proven with all the stuff on Netflix for Marvel that you can be in the same universe and maybe throw in a line here or there that kind of reminds you, oh yeah, we're all still in the same universe, same timeline. You don't need to have Spider-Man starring Tony Stark. You don't need to have Batman, Batman and Superman. You can just have these
Batman being in Suicide Squad just to show that it's in the same universe.
Yeah.
Why are you wasting Ben Affleck's Batfleck? I hate calling it that. Ben Affleck's Batman with 5 minutes in Suicide Squad. It didn't make any sense. Suicide Squad didn't make sense in the first place. But yeah, I like the idea of so much of the comic book world, and especially with DC, is there's a lot of these one-off runs.
Yeah.
There's year one, all the Zach Miller stuff that they did with Batman, and the new 52 is all out and stuff. Like, so they've got all this different one-offs and and different things, especially within the DC universe, that allows them to do these different storylines.
Embrace that. You be you.
Yeah.
Stop trying to be Marvel.
Disney has the Marvel Star Wars thing figured out. This is connected to this, which is connected to this, which sets up this thing, which is, and they have. I would love to be in the room of both Marvel and Lucasfilm and see the flow chart, how everything kind of connects together. And but yeah, I would just be. I like this idea of them doing these one-off movies, and I'm super happy that Zachary Levi's getting something.
Yeah, I mean, I hope he does. I hope it pans out because he's had a couple projects that have fallen through.
They were talking about Joe Manganiello. They're going to do a one-off standalone Deathstroke movie since he's not going to be in the Batman movie as Deathstroke.
But then that fell through, didn't it?
Well, they have a director.
Oh, okay. I thought
it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean they have a script or that Joe's still part of it. But that's, again, one of those, they're going to do a one-off kind of thing. And I think that would be kind of cool.
So if they're doing Shazam, for those of you out there that are maybe closer to my age, when are they going to do an ISIS? Because when I was a kid, it was Shazam and ISIS. Like, not Hercules, but remember the Xena and... what the heck was his name? It's not Hercules. Is it Hercules?
It might be Hercules.
Anyway.
With Kevin Sorbo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was like that. It was like there were two separate shows, but one was girl...
version.
The same thing. It was Shazam and ISIS, and they had Shazam and they had ISIS, and sometimes they crossed and sometimes they didn't.
I would love to see that. I would think it would be awesome if they set up that universe with Dark Adam and with Black Adam and stuff like that. It would be awesome. They will never call it ISIS.
Why not? That was her name.
Yes, but now ISIS has been ruined forever because of the guys in the Middle East.
It's an Egyptian goddess. Stop it.
I'm just telling you what you and I don't fucking care, but there's people out there who's going to be bitching that Zachary Levi doesn't look the part of Shazam. So there are going to be people on the internet bitching about that because, whatever. But with the Shazam stuff, David Sandberg is going to be directing it for New Line Cinema. He did Annabelle Creation, which made a little bit of money. It was a $15 million horror film that made $303 million worldwide. So they've got a production company, they got a director, they got a star, they got a script. Go.
All right.
So
happen.
No date yet, but I'm thinking 2020. Probably.
Probably.
We went last Tuesday and used our movie pass. Really digging our movie pass. And saw American Made with Tom Cruise.
Yep.
Now, American Made is about a pilot in the late 70s for TWA who was commandeered, suckered, bamboozled into working for the CIA.
Right.
And he started off taking pictures of Contras in Central America.
Central America, yeah.
And then expanded his from there into
started taking pictures and picking up some drugs and some money,
and then the CIA wanted to have him drop off guns and he'd pick up drugs, and so it just became this giant snowball. And I never really knew this story. It's based off of a true story.
Yep.
And I had never really known the story. I knew about the Iran-Contra stuff, and I knew about Nicaragua, and I've heard those
and
stories.
We know now, mostly because of Narcos, but on Netflix. But we know now that while Nancy was touting the
just say no to drugs.
Yeah, just say no to drugs. That the U.S. government was actually paying for and helping. Bring in a lot of those drugs.
Oh yeah.
I actually went and did a little bit of research on the actual story, and obviously the guy didn't look like Tom Cruise, and it didn't necessarily happen exactly like that. Like a lot of the CIA stuff, they're never going to be able to prove, right? Because the CIA is not going to come in and go, oh yeah, we totally had him do this. But there were a lot of inconsistencies, like a lot of different stories going on to make it so that nobody really knows what the real story was. But he did. I won't say what happens, but the end is what actually happened to this individual, and he actually didn't get he didn't quit TWA to go do this thing. He actually there was a gap in between him not where he got fired or something from TWA and then when he picked up starting to do this, and he wasn't quite as buddy with some of the bigwigs, Escobar and those guys down there that they made it. I mean, in the movie he's like buddies there. He's at their house and
bring his wife down and they have a big party. Yeah.
It was embellished but it was a good story, and like I said, I find it funny and fascinating now to have. I remember when all that was going on, and now finding out that pretty much everything we were told is a lie.
It's all lies. lies. I really liked this movie a lot more than I thought I was going to. I was, whenever you get in that conversation of American Made and Blow and Narcos and like those storytelling historical events can be very interesting, and but they also can be, if told poorly, really slow to watch. And
which is why I mean they've got to spice them up, right? Because I mean nobody.
Although the story itself is cool, to tell it over a 2-hour period, or if it's like Narcos where it's over a 10 or 12 episode season, you need to have some stuff going on to pump up the story to keep you interested and stuff. But for this for American Made, for this story, for this movie, I was entertained. I never lost interest in it. I never all the stuff that they did make up to add to the story was completely believable within what they were telling. I would say I'd give it maybe a 7, maybe.
It was maybe a 6.5, 7. I mean, it wasn't horrible. I'm glad we went. We probably, if we didn't have the movie passes, probably wouldn't have seen it in the movie theater, just because, again, we've said this before, but when it's $12-14 a person, you got to kind of pick and choose what you're actually gonna go see in the movie theater. And this isn't something that you're gonna lose by seeing it on the small screen. But if you didn't see it, definitely rent it when it comes out, or
Netflix
Redbox
or Redbox. I say Netflix. Redbox, Netflix, all of that things.
Or if you still get DVDs from Netflix, you could do it that way. I guess. I'm sure somebody out there still does it.
Somebody posted to one of the pages I follow, and look, I got something in the mail today. It was something like Toy Story 3 or whatever. It's like I got lost in the mail or whatever.
Apparently, people do still do that. Okay.
A couple of TV things that we wanted to talk about. One was Vincent D'Onofrio. D'Onofrio. Yeah. I actually got one right for a change. Simple names, people. Simple names.
He's Italian.
Is coming back to Daredevil. He played Wilson Fisk, a.k.a. Kingpin. I loved him as Fisk.
Yeah.
He was so cool. So they're doing a season 3 of Daredevil. And he's coming back. He's probably the Man in Purple from Jessica Jones, who was played by David Tennant, was really good too.
Yes, I've heard several people say they would really like to see that character come back too. And David Tennant said, let's do it.
Yeah. I liked that character, but I liked Fisk. He was in season 2 for half an hour of one of the episodes as the guy in prison kind of tell stories.
Well, and Vincent, whatever his last name is, he's an interesting actor. He did one of the Law and Orders, I don't remember, Special Victims, whatever one it was, and he was a very interesting character in that, almost autistic or something. I mean, he was very smart and he knew how to get people to confess, kind of, and he thought very differently.
Yeah.
And and then obviously he's great in Men in Black.
In the Edgar suit.
The Edgar suit. So I just like.
And then his character in Magnificent Seven is completely different than everything else that he had
big
done.
old
and he's got that really
guy.
like kind of weird voice and stuff, and you're like, the first time you hear it, you're like, wait a minute, that's but it makes it totally works. And,
I just really like him as an actor.
I do too, and he's a really interesting follow on Twitter.
Oh yeah,
he'll spend like an hour or two at least every couple of days interacting with everybody.
Oh wow!
People will post things to his walls, and he'll send messages back, and I'll get on Twitter sometimes, and it's like the first 50 posts, and like 2/3 of them are all him interacting with everybody.
That's awesome.
And he's kind of that cool, kind of laid back. I'd love to see him come to a con. Not that he needs to come to cons, or he's a con kind of guy, but it'd be kind of cool to have him come and tell the stories of the different things.
That would definitely be somebody that you don't normally see at a con.
Yeah. And so now what we're going to do is talk about Stranger Things 2.
Yay!
So
no spoilers.
No spoilers. We're not going to spoil anything. So to give you some context, it came out Friday at midnight. Friday at 5:30, my wife went to work. I finished packing and I left the house at 11:30, and we haven't been home till last night.
Right.
So everybody who binged it on the first day or over the weekend and has been posting stuff to social media, we haven't seen because we just haven't been home and on our computers or on our phones or whatever else, and or at least as little as possible. Now I was home today. A, to recover from the weekend, but B, to unpack and to go see my chiropractor and do some shopping. And
I had to go to work.
She had to go to work, new job. And every time I saw something about Stranger Things, I scrolled past it.
Yeah.
We did 5 episodes last night. We did 6 tonight before with dinner.
Episode 6.
And then we're going to go do. We're going to try to do the rest of them tonight.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about the first 5 episodes, spoiler free, no real context, just kind of say what we think about the series so far. Is that possible?
Yes, we will. I will not spoil it. Okay. Yes. It's freaking awesome.
It's freaking awesome.
I don't know what else to say.
I've been trying to think about how I wanted to talk about this all day. Because I did want to talk about it. And we might do, once we get it done, maybe we'll do a spoiler review tomorrow before we go trick-or-treating.
Okay.
Or something. Maybe we'll see what we can do. But what I have appreciated about the first season of Stranger Things and why we've watched it 4 or 5 times is not because of the member berries that are all throughout the show. That is the draw to the show. But the show itself has really good storytelling.
Yes.
Like next level storytelling. Game of Thrones kind of storytelling is one way of doing storytelling, but being able to keep your audience engaged and stuff like that. They did it for Walking Dead for a while. They do it with The Sopranos. That's why shows stay on for so long. It's because the storytelling process is so good.
See, I think that I've heard, so Game of Thrones, and you said that's one kind of storytelling. So Game of Thrones is almost meant to be binge watched before binge watching even was really a thing when Game of Thrones first, because, 9 years later when you're watching season 7 and they're talking about stuff that happened 5 years ago in season 2, season, and you're like, and you don't catch all that stuff. Whereas Stranger Things doesn't necessarily have that. It's not like you had to pay attention. And now there's, 8 episodes, 9 episodes in the first season.
There's 8 in the first season. There's 9
in this one. So it's not like, even if you did it every week, something happened in the last episode versus it's not like it was 5 years ago, but it's simple. And maybe again, that's kind of in the '80s style.
Yeah, I mean, there's good storytelling
Oh,
from
it's
the 80s.
definitely, yeah, it's good. I'm not saying it's not good. It's different, and I think that's one of the reasons why people like it so much. And there's stuff, but there's still stuff you can catch. We just like you said, we just watched the first season again.
We finished it Thursday before we left.
And that's at least the 5th time that I've seen it, because I saw it once before he did. And I was still catching stuff when she, no, it's not her. Somebody bursts out of the, no, was it the Demogorgon bursts out of the paw?
Yeah.
And then that happens again this season.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I mean, it just.
There's been some really cool. So there's been 2 things that I really liked, or have really liked so far this season, without giving away spoilers, like we've said. One is throwbacks to the previous season, but throwbacks in shot composition and how things are. There's a shot where it's kind of an homage to this Stand By Me last season, and there's kind of an homage to last season's homage to Stand By Me. And there's those hallway shots where it's kind of an homage to the previous season, where one person walked away, and now this season the other person walked away. There's been a lot of that, and then the transitions from one scene to the next, and not necessarily
he kept. Oh my God, that was an awesome transition.
It's not swipe cuts or whatever. Just like, it's just been really cool, like transitions from one scene to the next, and all that stuff. But the other thing that I really have been enjoying is the story picks up from the first season, and it stays in Hawkins. But the universe of the show has expanded.
Yes.
They've brought in new characters. The characters make complete sense with the storyline of everything else. There's been the expansion of each of the characters.
Yeah.
Have not like leaps and bounds, but they've
it's
evolved.
Like it's almost
like
a year later. So you feel like it's almost a year later.
And it's seamless between one season and the other. Like I said, we finished it Thursday. We started the first one on Sunday, and so there's been this seamless transition between the two, and it's just been a really good kind of. Here's our base, which was what the first season was, and then we take season 2 and we build the base, but it's a little bit bigger. And then they'll hopefully, season 3 they'll take the base and they'll build a little bit bigger from season 2 and keep expanding it. So
and there is so the very first thing you see in the very first episode of this season is so far has not been touched upon again, and I have a feeling that is what the 3rd season is about.
That makes sense. Yeah.
So
we're gonna go finish it. But like I said, we'll do a full spoiler review and talk about all the stuff. And there's a whole bunch of stuff that I want to talk about with characters and stuff too. But we've been liking the season so far.
Oh yeah, it's awesome.
Go finish it. And then one last thing, I did finish the Princess Leia, the Princess of Alderaan book. So I was hesitant about reading this book based. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I was hesitant to listen to this book because of we had the Carrie Fisher up there signed as Princess Leia, and on Hoth, by the way, so I was really hesitant about listening to this book, and it's a Leia origin story is what the book is, and it's her teenage years, 16, 17 kind of time period. So it's it's 2 years before A New Hope, and so there's storytelling processes in there. It's done by Claudia Gray. Claudia Gray understands Leia, understands Carrie Fisher's interpretation of Leia, and does a great job of building upon the work that Carrie Fisher did. The book itself, there's not one Jedi, there's not one lightsaber, there's not one space battle. It is a political thriller. It is a coming-of-age story for a young girl whose parents are kind of quietly the leaders of the rebellion. before the rebellion really gets going. And it's her coming of age, her learning how to be a diplomat, a queen, a senator, and be a rebel leader. And it's really good. It touches all the points you need it to touch to make it fit within the Star Wars universe. And they throw in little homages. They talk about one guy, and you're like, I think I know who that is. And they talk about a ship, and you're like, I think I know what that is, but they don't name things by name.
Yeah.
And they set up some relationships that are gonna be in The Last Jedi. So it's gonna be really interesting to see how they continue on with that story. But I really liked it. I thought it was awesome, and it fits in perfectly with the rest of the canon books and within A New Hope, Rogue One, that kind of time period stuff. So definitely worth the read, and definitely help. When there's good stuff like this, you want to have everybody go watch it, because then that will remind them to put out good stuff.
Right.
So that's our episode for this week. Are you guys watching Stranger Things? Have you seen American Made? What do you think about Quentin sitting there and telling, just give me a blank check. Just give me a blank check. This is who I want to go. So tell us what you think of this episode. Also, once again, we want to say thank you to everyone who continues to watch the show and shares it with their friends. Like, we're 1 year into this. We're going to continue to share, react, review, argue, discuss all the stuff in movies and TVs and cons and everything else moving forward. With the holiday season coming up, we'll have a lot of movies to watch, so we will do our best to keep up on all the reviews of all that stuff. Like we said, we're going to go see Thor on Friday, and we're going to see Suburban maybe Wednesday. And we have Justice League tickets.
And we have Last Jedi tickets.
And stuff. And so we just appreciate you guys watching our videos, letting us know what you guys think of everything that we're talking about and discussing. You can get a hold of us also on Facebook. We're called the Pop Culture Cult on Facebook. We are Pop Culture Cult 1 on Instagram. Like I said, we will post more photos and stuff. We are also Pop_Cult1 on Twitter. And we're also on the Stardust app. Download the app from your iOS or Google Play Store. Follow the Pop Culture Cult first. And then go start watching and reacting to everything that you are watching. Allow myself to introduce myself.
And reacting.
Yeah, baby. Hey, happy 1 year.
Yay.
Until next time, good night now.